Hello Year 10. In this lesson we're going to return to look at the problems of law and order in the West and how all these hundreds of thousands of people migrating to the new territories brought with them problems. So people called the new territories the Wild West. They were dangerous places to live and there were real problems of law and order. And there were, as we found out in previous lessons, three main reasons for this. Number one, weak justice systems made it difficult to bring law and order to the West. So there was either corrupt sheriffs or judges or just lawmen who weren't up to the job. Conflict over resources made fighting and killing a common thing. Remember, we looked at the conflict between homesteaders and ranchers. And finally, independent attitudes meant that men often took the law into their own hands. In America, there was and perhaps is a culture of violence, a culture of gun ownership, a culture of using weapons to solve problems. So on the next slide, we're going to look at a famous illustration of the problems of law and order in the West. Okay, so today's lesson is going to focus on a narrative of Billy the Kid and what's called the Lincoln County War. And this was a range war. So ultimately, it's a dispute over land and over cattle and over resources. You need to turn to page 92 in the attached PDF. That will help you with today's lesson. If you look at the map, you can see that Lincoln County is in the state of New Mexico, and our story is set in the heart of that state. So, the story or narrative of the Lincoln County War of 1878. So, its causes. In the 1870s, the House, a store run by businessman Lawrence Murphy and his partners, dominated the town and county of Lincoln in New Mexico territory. So through their political connections, they controlled the forces of law and order in the county, and they made money from their monopoly trading position. They were the only ones to be able to deal in supplies for the local ranchers and the local homesteaders. So they could charge what they wanted. That's what a monopoly means. They were rustling, that means stealing cattle, from the cattle baron John Chisholm, which they then sold on at inflated prices to the US government to supply the nearby Indian reservation and Fort Stanton. So you have to understand the House is a criminal organization that fronts as just a normal businessman. The House employs gunfighters, toughs, has the local law in its pocket and does what it wants. But in 1876, an Englishman, John Tunstall, arrived in Lincoln and set up a rival business with Chisholm, remember the man who the House were stealing cattle from, and a lawyer, Alexander McSween. Tunstall had the support of the smaller ranchers and farmers in the county, many of them Mexican Americans. So instantly now we've got a cause of conflict. We've got conflict over resources. John Tunstall wants to set up a rival business. The House obviously want to protect what they've got. So the narrative of events. Tunstall hoped to displace, that means get rid of the House, and create his own business monopoly in Lincoln County. But he planned to do so legally and be a friend to the local ranchers and the Mexicans. Although he did hire a number of tough cowboys to run his ranch, including, famously, Billy the Kid. So war was sparked between the House and the people who worked for Tunstall by the murder of Tunstall by House gunmen on the 18th of Feb 1878. Tunstall's cowboys, calling themselves the Regulators, set out to avenge him and to attack the House. Billy the Kid played a prominent role in this. So killings and counter killings continued throughout Lincoln County with low officers involved on both sides. And it ended in a 5-day battle in the town of Lincoln itself from the 15th to the 19th of July 1878, which ended in the burning down of Tunstall's store, McSween's death, and the triumph of the House gunmen. So the results. When the fighting ended, more than 30 people had been killed in the Lincoln County War. The House obviously continued to dominate the political and economic life of Lincoln County. Lawrence Murphy was eventually charged with the murder of Tunstall, but was acquitted. Remember, the House control the forces of law and order in the county, which are obviously corrupt. Meanwhile, Billy the Kid was on the run and famous, and he was the only killer involved in the war to be tried and convicted. And Billy the Kid would go down in legend in American history, and many films have been made featuring Billy the Kid and the events of the Lincoln County War of 1878. Okay, on the next slide, we've got an activity based on this text, and it tries to unpick your understanding of the text. Okay, I need you to draw a table neatly in your book. The table needs to have 4 columns. The first column obviously blank, the second column headed background/causes, then events, then finally results. I've pre-filled the first column for you, so you need to copy the Lincoln County War, the role of Billy the Kid, and the Lincoln County War showed that conflict over resources, corrupt lawmen, and vigilante justice caused problems of lawlessness. Then, rereading the background and the causes, can you bullet point how the background and causes of the Lincoln County War illustrate that a major problem in law and order was the conflict over resources and the issue of corrupt lawmen? So you should be able to use the first bit of your reading to complete that section and that column. Then move on to the events column. And in this, you can see the problem of corrupt lawmen and vigilante justice in the events. So bullet point the events that illustrate another feature, another problem of law and order in the Wild West. The idea that there are corrupt lawmen, the idea that there will always be vigilante killings. That's people taking the law into their own hands, whether it be the House or Tunstall's regulators. And then finally in the results, when you read this section of your page, you'll be able to see that at the end of the Lincoln County War, it illustrates another problem of law and order, that of weak justice systems. And you should be able to bullet point evidence about that. And once that's done, you can click the hyperlinks that you see on screen. Remember, you'll probably have to open up the attachment to do this, and that will take you to a couple of clips that recreate the story of Billy the Kid and the Lincoln County War on YouTube. Okay, well done for completing the table, well done for following the narrative of the Lincoln County War, and well done for clicking on the links to look at the film.